we're talking again. I'm so happy to Sofia Rose, who has come all the way from her new home in Nevada. I said it wrong. In Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
She's come from her new home in Las Vegas just to be interviewed again on The Only One in the Room because she loves us so much. We're so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I mean, girl, our conversation with you. Well, I'm going to get into that.
Well, I was going to say the feeling's mutual, isn't it? I mean,
yes. Well, that's why we asked her back.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love her. We love her, and just like the most downloads on YouTube that we've ever had.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, your interview is our number one downloaded YouTube video.
Your fans are freaking amazing.
Yeah,
they come
pretty
like wherever
amazing.
you are.
Yeah.
They're coming.
Oh, can I say that? I said a bad word.
Oh, it's
I
fine. You can totally cuss.
It just comes out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
just my language.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really amazing.
They are really amazing. Yeah, and I like all their comments. Like, they're all so sweet and supportive. And Sophia, like 13 exclamation points, and we love you. And yeah, I mean, you blew us up. So we really, but that's not why. That's not why we wanted you back. I just had the best time talking to you.
I had a great time as well.
Yeah, and you and I have something that we want to do afterward, which we'll talk about at the end of the interview. But right now, I have these interview cards. I got them at Podfest, where I spoke a few weeks ago, and I'm going to ask you to pick one and hand it back to me.
I'm nervous.
All right. Ooh, this is a good one.
Oh, no.
Have you ever been kicked out of anything? If so, what?
Kicked out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me.
A bar.
A bar?
Yes.
When did Sofia Rose get kicked out of a bar?
Probably around 2010 or 11.
Okay.
When I worked as a United States postmaster.
What?
I got off in the morning, and one of my coworkers decided to join me in the bathroom. And they were like, no, you guys can't be in there together. Whoops. You have to go.
Wait, what time was it?
It was like 7 a.m.
6
We were getting off, on the morning shift. And
I mean, literally getting off.
Right. Literally getting off.
And the thing is, we weren't really doing anything. We were going home to do that.
Right. You were just getting started.
He followed me in the bathroom.
That's so funny.
It is really funny, but we got kicked out. We were coming back the next day. It was not because we just got kicked out that morning. We were like, bye.
I didn't know you worked as a postmaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just briefly.
That's something like
a
fun fact.
A fun fact. Yes.
About Sofia Rose.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
I knew that you had jobs prior to this.
Yes.
After doing a little research on you and from our last conversation. Yes. All right. Thank you for that. I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins. This is The Only One in the Room, but I'm never the only one in this room because, as usual, my boyfriend, producer, and co-host, Scott Slaughter, who I call Hun, is here as well.
Hi, honey.
Hey, honey.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we are so privileged and honored to be talking to Sofia Rose again. She is, in case you don't know, and if you don't know, you really need to get to know right now, but she is a critically acclaimed Latina performer, published model, pioneering BBW Pornstar, fetish and solo artist who has been thrilling fans since late 2006. Over the years, Sofia Rose has become the internet's most downloaded BBW star and has won a wealth of coveted fan favorite, XXX Performer of the Year and BBW of the Year industry accolades at the AVN, Urban X, Inked, and BBW Awards. And my girl is about to get inducted into the Urban X Hall of Fame this August. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's huge, right?
It is huge.
Yeah.
It's truly an honor.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The best of the best.
That's
yes.
what they say. And I am just so happy to be on that list. Like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I hope I don't have to retire.
No.
I'm just getting started.
I don't think your fans would let you.
They won't.
No.
I thought I was going to retire in 2020. The pandemic happened. My fans weren't going to let me go anywhere.
They're like, girl, get back here.
We need you.
We need you. Okay, so we talked a little bit our last interview. You were the only fat over 40 Latina porn star in the room. Was that right, hon?
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So YouTube off the chart. Our YouTube views. Loved your enthusiastic fans for blowing us up. And while our conversation was amazing then, there were some things we didn't get to cover, which I really wanted to cover.
Right.
Right. And so we're going to get to talk about those things today. But I want to just ask you a couple things to see if they're still true for you.
Okay.
Do you still identify as fat?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've gained 20 pounds since last time you saw me.
Have you really?
I couldn't even tell. I was like, I thought you lost weight.
I did. And she's wearing this really gorgeous dress, but hun, when I hugged her, I told her I could have just like curled up and gone to sleep on her. Like,
yes, I'm very cuddly.
Her mammary area is.
When you put your arms around me too, it's just all kind of like, I just melt into her.
Like for all of you out there who fantasize about what it might be like to hug her, it's true. Whatever you're thinking, it's all good. You're still plant-based?
Yes.
Yes. Very nice. And like we said at the top, you've moved to Las Vegas. You're not an LA area resident anymore, but you're back and forth a little bit, right? Yeah. All right. So, and what about your career? We know that you're getting inducted into the Urban X Hall of Fame. Is everything else going the way you want it?
I am having the best year of my career as far as from a financial standpoint.
Okay.
My fans are very, very wonderful.
Yes.
And I haven't shot anything. It's June. I haven't shot anything with any studios, but I am shooting next week. I also told everybody I was moving and wanted to keep things on hold until I was settled. So they were trying to get me in last month, but my schedule just wasn't letting it work with all the events and things that were happening because things are starting to pick back up.
Yes.
And we're doing a lot of in-person events again now, which is fun.
Yeah.
So my schedule's a little different and I'm not so available. But I'm excited to be shooting. I'm doing a boy, girl, girl.
Oh.
And that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So smart too to put things on hold while you move and get settled, because it's really stressful to try to do something else while you're focusing on that.
Yeah, and I've also learned boundaries were really hard for me, and I went through a lot of, self-reflection and healing in 2021, and I'm living it now. And now that I've learned to establish boundaries and hold myself to them, a lot of things are so much better, and I think I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, just going, this is what I need to do. And I know it's not ideal, but I'm so much better because of it,
I think in general, at least in our society, there is this fear that I want to say more women have around setting boundaries. The fear of not being liked either by other women or by men, or not being as valued. Like if we say no to this, or if we're not, if we're not good to go with something, then maybe we won't be liked, or maybe we won't be asked back.
Won't be asked back. I think for me, it is a lot of, I don't want to let people down.
Disappointment.
Yeah. And I feel bad for it, but I also started to realize, well, I can do this and not let them down and not be at my best.
Yeah.
And I take a lot of pride in everything that I do, and I want to present and give my best. So I don't want to do a half-ass. I want a whole ass. So it's better to say no. And if I don't get asked back or someone doesn't like me, then I've just accepted that it is what it is, and it's not for me, and that's okay. And I'm okay with it now. And I used to be like, I don't like this. But so far, that has not been the case.
Do you think some of that is with age? Or just
Absolutely, with age. But going through a lot of my own healing, that journey last year was really, really tough. Self-reflection's hard. But, when I speak to my therapist and she says, you are living your healing every day, and that's so good. And, telling my dad, I am single and the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I never thought those two would go together.
Right.
And I am.
Yes. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about.
We are.
But first, I'm actually going to read a quote of yours. Okay. It says, I was 75 pounds, 25 pounds underweight when I was 10 years old. I could not break 100 pounds. Then right when I was 11 years old, puberty hit, and overnight I had tits and ass. I remember the day I finally stepped on the scale and I was like, I was 100 pounds. I was so excited. I gained the weight, and I gained it like nightly. By the time I was 13, I was a 36 double D.
Yes.
Wow. your body went through some major changes
Yes.
in a very short period of time.
Yes.
So I'm kind of setting this up, and this is for our listeners. I just want to say this to you all. We're going to talk about some things that Sofia went through growing up. We're going to talk about what we're going to call sexual assault. Other people may call it molestation. We're going to talk about the difference and why we want to call it assault. The goal here is not to sensationalize these abuses at all, nor is the goal to make Sofia more quote unquote sympathetic. The reason I'm bringing it up is simply to illustrate how these events changed her perspective and how she went from that to where she is now. Can you tell me, because we're talking about these were repeated molestations that occurred. Mm-hmm. Can you just tell me about that? What happened?
Yes. So it was my uncle that was married to my aunt who did not have children. And, you know, I look as an adult like there was a reason she never had kids, and that was because he was a pedophile, essentially. He was basically raping me repeatedly from the earliest memory is 5 years old, but we think it was probably earlier, until I was about 10. That I was at a church group and I finally spoke up, and that was more terrifying than actually going through it, because everyone overreacted. Adults don't respond well to it. I thought I did something wrong, the way they grabbed me by my wrist and took me to an office and started talking to me, and I'm going, I don't want to talk about, you know, they're asking details, and it's just like, it was difficult because my aunt didn't want to believe me. She insisted that my father put these all in my head and made it all up, and it was all a very elaborate lie. A lot of my mom's family sided with him, and, you know, it was a very difficult thing for me to go through because no one wants to believe you. I remember the police officer who had to take the details of my experiences in writing, shaking and actually feeling sick. Like I could see it, especially now as an adult, like I know what I was seeing now, but being uncomfortable with the graphic details that I could articulate at that time, you know, using child words to describe body parts and genitalia. And there was no way that was made up. There's no way somebody gave those things to me, and I'm like, graphic. And I don't say molestation because I wasn't just being fondled. This man was having full intercourse with me in my mouth, in my vagina, you know, like I was being forced to have sex at a very young age, repeatedly. So.
This was your mother's sister's husband?
Yes.
And the consensus among the adults was that perhaps your father put you up to this. To what end? Like, why would that have happened?
They were going through custody issues.
Okay.
They were trying to, you know, thinking that my dad was always trying to establish that my mom was an unfit mother. And there were times where she was going through her own things. I mean, she was a young mom. She had 4 kids by the time she was 23. That's hard on anybody at that age. I don't want to say that she was necessarily unfit. She was unexperienced, and we don't come with handbooks when we're born. So, you know, she was doing 23-year-old things while she had children, and we weren't always under the best care, and things happened. And, you know, my uncle would babysit us a lot.
Wow.
I wasn't being babysat.
No. What about your siblings?
They would be dismissed, you know, go outside. It was one of those times where every time he said, you guys need to go outside and play, I would think, oh, I'm going with everybody outside, until the door would shut in front of me. I wasn't going. And I knew exactly what was happening next. And as long as I thought that nobody else would get hurt, I would just keep putting up with it, because I didn't want anyone else to get hurt, and I didn't want anybody else to go through it. Later, I found out when we went through court and the trial and everything, there had been multiple. He was seeing another woman. She had 2 daughters, and they were going through the same thing. So had I not spoke up, they would have continued, and God knows how long it would have continued with me. I mean, I could have been 13 and gotten pregnant.
Yeah.
So, and that just in my mind is like, wow. But to find out that he was basically a full pedophile made me sick. I didn't find that out till actually recently, because I never asked all the details. I just knew he wasn't allowed to come within so many feet with me, that he had fines, he had this and that. But I didn't even know all the details. I just know a few times he had crossed paths with me because my family still accepted him. they didn't believe me. And when my grandfather passed away a couple of years ago, he was at the funeral, and I was on my way there, and I was speaking at the funeral. So I was really upset. I had to text one of my brothers and said, I'm going to be there in 30 minutes. Somebody needs to remove him because this is not going to go well. Because I'm a grown-up now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm a grown-up man, and he's an old man. So this isn't going to go well. And my brother handled it really well and just said, listen, my sister's about to be here. You need to go. Yeah. And he left willing. He did not fight because he knows what he did. And he knows he's going to look an adult woman in the eye now. And I'm probably not going to restrain myself at that point. So, but everything was fine, and he left and peacefully, and I did my thing. And it used to hurt me that my family just accepted him and didn't like sit there and say, you know, how dare you come here? Look what you did to her. But I'm also sort of disconnected from everybody because of that. Like, why would I want to be around people who think this behavior is okay, even if it wasn't to me? I wouldn't want to be associated with someone I know was a pedophile and convicted of it. So,
no. So you're telling that whoever that was in the church group set in motion legal consequences.
All of it.
For him.
And that was really a terrifying experience.
Yeah.
I remember being sick in the courtroom, being sick and throwing up in the bathroom, having the court liaison take me back and forth, the nerves, the anxiety, all of that I still carry it today because I remember it.
Yes.
I remember not being able to take the stand, going into the judge's chambers and having a one-on-one with him, basically, and the lawyers, because I couldn't in front of people. And they showed some compassion.
I hope so.
Yeah. But, you know, this is the 80s. This was still very new. People didn't have kind of a sensitivity to it. And like I said, the way that adults handled it, I was scared. I thought I was in trouble. I thought I did something wrong, and I immediately regretted ever opening my mouth. But it was because of the way nobody knew what to do. You know, nobody knew. Yeah. I think it's different now. I hope it's different now because I wouldn't want to be a kid coming forward going through that again.
Yeah. I mean, if we just look at the way the legal system is treating victims of assault and rape anyway now, regardless of their age, it doesn't seem that much different.
No. But we look at situations like Amber Heard and we see why.
Exactly.
And it's like, do you see that there's true victims and there's embellished victims?
Exactly.
Because I do think she was probably a victim to an extent, but I don't think it was all.
Yeah, I didn't follow it that closely.
I didn't want to either, just because I just thought it was ridiculous. But whatever.
There was this, thing going on in Ukraine, and all the attention.
But it was just like, I was just like, this is a circus.
It was a circus.
Yeah, so.
It was a circus. So, is there anything else you want to say about that?
I don't think that I have anything to say other than I just, I'm never looking for sympathy or for people to feel pity for me or. I'm not somebody you should shame for, oh, well, that's what happened to you. Now you do porn. No, it all correlates. I've gone through years of therapy as a child, as a young adult, and now even in my adult life. And I have had a lot of reflection, and I'm very healed from it, and it's all an experience that I am a woman of faith. Even though I do porn, people go, how that's not possible. Everyone's faith is different. So I do think that this is all part of a bigger picture that I'm being led to. Yes. Even meeting you was part of that. And I tell people all the time, like my parents, the same faith that you tell me to have about that situation is the same faith you guys have to carry now in my situation I've chosen. And trust that there was a reason for all of it. And I do believe there's a purpose there. And if there isn't, I'm having a really intense talk with God when I get there. Yeah. But otherwise, I'm truly believing it's coming. I can feel it. I know it. I feel like it's been shown to me. I'm just waiting for things to fall into place. Yeah. And they slowly are.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I can see it. I can see it. I can hear it. The vibration in the room is exactly what you're telling us.
Yes.
And when someone isn't healed, you can feel that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I lived unhealed for a very long time.
Yeah. And people try to cover that up and with different things, but you can still tell. And so you were like, this little kid, this little skinny kid who couldn't grow, wanted to gain weight. I was that kid too, by the way. I was like wearing 2 pairs of jeans over like long johns and just like, please let me break 100.
Yeah. You kind of get teased for being so skinny.
Oh, yeah.
My nickname growing up was Flaca, which is
right, skinny.
for,
yes. And cocaine too, right?
Cocaine.
Don't they call like? Never mind.
Cocaine. Oh, wait.
No, but I've heard that being used as a name for cocaine. But
I didn't know that
because it makes you skinny and yeah.
Doesn't always though. Just say. I just had a friend recently experience it, and I was like, she was eating, and I was like, "You're eating a lot." Normally that doesn't happen. She goes, "I'm a fat girl for life, man."
The good cocaine is okay. You can eat.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
It's like it's supposed to.
Shout out to Peruvian Flake.
Right. I don't know anything about that.
No, you don't.
Except that's what you want.
But anyway, so you were the skinny kid, you wanted to gain weight, and then when you did, you went straight for the big guns. Like you went straight to a 36 double D.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, you must have been going through all of this and also healing from this, trying to just be a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not like a regular kid now because you have 36 double D boobs. Do you have the ass yet or no?
I had a fat ass.
You had a fat ass and
big thighs.
So tell me, what was that like?
Unnerving.
Yeah.
I fought a lot with my father because he knew what men saw and wanted to keep me locked in a closet, and I wasn't going to be put away.
Yeah.
My mom was a lot more lenient with my freedom, too much probably. I couldn't go to a grocery store as a child and not get hit on by someone who was in their mid-20s. It was ridiculous, the things, but my body was way ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I understood what was happening, and some parts of me were liked having kind of this power over men, but at the same time I lived in fear in my body. And that's something I recently discovered, that I've never really been safe in my own body, and probably why psychologically I chose to be fat, because I felt less desired, yet ironically used it to make a career out of, right? Makes no sense, but I did. And through my healing with my therapist, she said, yeah, maybe you did subconsciously try to protect yourself from being appealing and allowed yourself to gain the weight. And I was like, I think I'm hiding in my body, because being feminine and being desirable were weaknesses to me because of what had happened as a child. It's now not safe, yet I found power in it too, knowing I could be a tease.
Right.
So, but there was like, I only want to tease so far. Now I've got to put the brakes on, and sometimes you can't. So I put myself in some compromising positions and learned very quickly to stop doing that. But it was hard to feel safe because I knew people were looking at me, you know.
Well, and then so it's a liability and it's an asset.
And it still is.
It still is.
But now I just know how to monetize it and work to my advantage. Right. Yes.
Wow. So what about your peers at school?
Hated me.
Hated you?
It was very unliked.
Wow.
Because I was pretty and I had a body and all the boys liked me, but it was just weird. But I didn't have boyfriends. They all liked me when I had boyfriends. It's weird how life just keeps repeating itself.
Were they too scared to approach?
Yes.
So even then, they were intimidated. And so did you eat lunch by yourself?
A lot.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes. A little bit of a loner.
And then you grew up in Las Vegas?
No, I grew up all over Los Angeles.
All over Los Angeles. That's right.
Yes.
But you spent some part of
my teenage years, no. I didn't move to Las Vegas until I was in my 40s already.
Okay. Yeah, so where were you in Los Angeles during that time?
All over the San Gabriel Valley mostly, but I've been everywhere from San Diego to Ventura.
Oh, wow.
So
you run the gambit.
Yeah. When we were poor, we would get evicted and move.
Yes.
So wherever it was we landed.
You landed there. I remember that now.
Yeah. So I was everywhere.
So along with that, you were the new kid.
Always the new kid.
Who looked like she could be in college, right?
Who read at a college level even.
Yeah. Yeah. And then plopping into this new school environment, instantly hated by the girls, instantly.
I got into a lot of fights. I was in the
did?
principal's office a lot. I did detention a lot. I had a few suspensions. Never got expelled, but close, because I was fighting a lot physically, because people would be aggressive with me and expect me to be, a doormat.
Yes.
And I was the oldest of boys. I was not ever a doormat.
No, you weren't. Oh, you're the oldest.
I am the oldest.
Of your siblings. Wow.
Yeah, of boys. So it's just like, hey.
Yeah.
You want to fight? I'll fight. And I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to go to the principal's office. I'm still not afraid to go to jail.
So, another quote of yours.
Okay.
That actually just follows almost exactly what you just said, which is, we were very poor. We moved a lot. Couldn't afford to stay in one place for too long. My mom struggled a lot, raising a lot of kids by herself. My father took custody of me when I was 10, so we're already there in your story. You went to a private school, and you got pregnant at 15.
Yes.
And then you said everything just got bigger and kept getting bigger. Tell me about that.
Well, pregnancy changes your body.
Yeah.
And
No, tell me about getting pregnant.
oh gosh. So my high school sweetheart,
Mm-hmm.
who I ended up later marrying and divorcing.
Oh, I didn't realize that was him. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I married and then divorced him by the time I was 30. My dad didn't like him, which made him more desirable to me.
Of course.
We were just foolish. There's no good story behind it. It was just laziness.
Yeah.
And, the first time without any protection, I was like, well, it doesn't matter now. We already did it. And they just kept going. And now I was pregnant. And it was just literally a matter of time. Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Right. Did you think about terminating the pregnancy?
I was going to terminate the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I grew up in church. So
Yes.
I met a woman who basically saved my daughter. I was giving her up for adoption.
Mm.
And the couple I had chosen, they were teachers and they were family friends. They actually used to take care of me and my brother whenever my parents would leave town.
Mm.
And they had already adopted some children. And they said, yes, we're happy to take your baby and all this stuff. So I'm getting ready and prepared mentally to relinquish my child.
Yes.
And I think it was like the month before, 8 months or so, they got the word that the mom of the other babies had another baby coming. And they wanted to keep the siblings together. So they didn't want to bring in my daughter, and then have another infant within a couple of months. So I understood, and they were like, please, just, there's a lot of wonderful people out there. You'll find some other adoptive parents. And I was absolutely against it at that point, because I knew these people as a young child and kind of grew up around them. So I felt like they were the best possible parents for her.
Yeah.
And even though they were probably right, as a 15-year-old, I didn't feel comfortable. My dad says to this day, the look on my face when I actually had her, there was no way I was giving her up for adoption. So
Tell me about that. Tell me about having her.
So I had her at St. Joseph's Hospital in Orange County. I didn't know I was in labor. I was like, man, I really have to go to the bathroom and it's not coming out. Thinking, this is just pregnancy. And my mom kept checking on me and I was like, I just can't go to the bathroom. I'm having problems again. The mucus plug had come out the night before. You don't know your body that way. You're only a child, right?
Even as adults, sometimes people don't know.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and my dad, I walk out and my dad's standing right outside the bathroom door. He's like, are you okay? And I said, I have to go to the bathroom and I just can't go. And he puts his hands on my stomach and goes, you're in labor. And he's had a lot of kids.
He can feel the contraction.
So he can feel the contractions.
Yeah,
I was like, is that what that is? I felt like I had to take a massive poop. It just wouldn't go. And there it was. So she was 21 hours later. Yeah. My dad and my mom were in the labor room with me, delivery room. My dad was in my face. He was my coach my whole life for sports. And he was my coach while I was delivering.
Yeah.
My mom was at the other end waiting to catch her. And that was kind of a cool bonding experience. They can talk about it. My mom says it's the only time she ever thought she was going to pass out, because she'd been in a lot of delivery rooms, but I think it's because it was her daughter, and it was harder for her to see her own child going through that kind of pain. They gave me an epidural. It was an experience for sure, but I only did it once. There was a reason.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I've done that.
Don't want to do this again. I loved being pregnant. I don't like being a mom. It's hard.
Right.
It's a very difficult. I shouldn't say I don't like it. It's just difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of heartbreak.
Right. It is.
Raising children is not easy. So
no, and I don't know that anybody says it is, but
And I love my daughter so much, and I can't even imagine my life without her. And I feel like she saved me in a lot of ways, because I think I would have been a really reckless 20-year-old. I mean, more reckless.
Wow. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm now in my 40s and I'm living my 20s.
Yes.
Because I didn't do it the first time.
Such a good segue for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking about that, because we didn't get to talk about that at all last time. So you're not just an adult film actress. You're a porn star, like a bona fide star. Tell me about the difference for you between sex for work and recreational sex.
I enjoy recreational sex much more.
You do? Do you enjoy sex for work?
I do, but I don't necessarily orgasm or climax from it.
Okay.
I am an actress.
Yes.
And I sell that.
Yes,
that is
you
my
do.
job, and I'm very good at it. Otherwise, my accolades would not be there.
Right.
And my male co-stars often believe they act as well, so it helps them.
Right.
But that is my job.
Right.
And I've gotten really good at that. But I think I was always kind of good at selling an idea of something. So I just mastered it.
Yeah.
So real life, I feel like this is why I make my partners crazy.
Tell me.
Because they see what they see on camera and think, oh my God, this has got to be amazing. And then experience me in real life. And in real life, I'm much more passionate. I have more, the intimacy is just much different. I'm not performing for a camera and a camera angle and lights, and I'm not thinking of my sweaty makeup and just all the technical things that women think about.
Yeah.
And I'm just more natural and unguarded. And I think when they get in touch with that really feminine side of me, it kind of fucks with them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's why I get the comeback exes and all the, you name it, crazy people. The ones that just go crazy. Even my producers will say that. I don't know what you're doing to my male talent, but they're always asking to work with you again. Like, or I get forgot how fun it was to have sex with you. Sorry.
Well,
don't forget.
They just get a taste of it and they want more.
Yeah.
And it is.
And I don't shoot trade, so I'm like, no. When we get paid to do it, I'll do it. I don't really shoot trade.
What does that mean, though?
I don't produce my own hardcore anymore. I used to.
Okay.
So if a male talent works with you and goes, oh, well, basically want to fuck you again.
Right.
But we'll film it, so it's work, and we get paid for it on the back end. Well, I don't do that anymore.
You don't do that anymore.
Everything I do is solo. I only shoot hardcore for the studios.
Okay.
So, and part of that is part of my healing. I have enjoyed keeping my body to myself. And especially through the pandemic, having some of my best financial months, and I'm solo. That's why I say I'm a solo and fetish artist, because I am. But for the studios, I do boy girl, and that's the only place you can see it.
Interesting. Well, and I think it's important, because what you said about the technical part of it, when you're working, that has to be front of mind, right? Like how it looks and the performance.
Yes, you're performing for the camera.
Yeah.
And you don't have it's not natural sex. You're not doggy style and just going for it. You're doggy style at an angle because they need to see the full penetration.
Right.
And you're kind of twisted in a weird place, and your back is going to get a little weird cramp. And, even for the guys have the most work to do. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they can be a porn star, and it's not. Right. Male porn stars have the most hardest job, really. They really do.
Like literally hardest.
Literally hard.
Yes.
Poor guys. And some of them will shoot 2 or 3 times a day. I don't even know how they're doing that sometimes. Man. Yeah. So, I mean,
that's
they have
crazy
help.
Shit
they have
right
help. Yeah, but I'm just saying it's a lot.
I want to talk about dating. Because all right, so when we were on the phone yesterday, you told me that you have kind of a lineup tryout situation happening now, because we did get to talk about this just a little bit last time, that dating was difficult for you.
It is.
That just meeting, you met somebody on the plane, I think you told us that story, and what did they Google you? I don't remember what it was.
Oh, that one, he just was a fan. He just happened to know who it was.
Right.
And I remember just being surprised, like, I'm in long sleeves and leggings and a hat and a mask because we were still masked on planes. And like, how the hell did you? And everyone's like, your body's kind of.
I was say your
body's kind of unique. And now that I've heard from some exes,
and your voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But my exes have said that too. Like, I didn't realize how unique your body was till I tried to get out there and find it again.
Right.
I'm like, you can find
luck.
it, but they're probably already taken, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I haven't seen almost anybody I can say built like you, with this, the waist and the curves, and you are unique, I think.
So I stand out, and that's often why people recognize me.
Yeah.
Even
and
when
you
I
embrace the curves too.
I do.
Yeah. So talk to me about dating.
And my lineup.
And your lineup. Well, what led you to the lineup?
I don't think people traditionally, they don't date the way that dating is meant to be, especially millennials. And I don't date anything younger than that.
Anything. Whatever thing that is younger than a millennial. I'm not
they're
dating
all things,
it.
Because they're all toys. They're just objects right now. People don't date. They just sleep with each other, and they don't take time to get to know each other. And then I'm sleeping with this girl, and now that's it. We're exclusive. But they don't actually know each other. They never dated. Right. And I'm really taking dating seriously, but I'm not trying to be in a relationship with anybody. And men don't like that. So they don't like a woman who is secure in her sexuality and comfortable with it and can say, I can fuck just like you do. Sex to me is just like food, water, and air.
Yeah.
It's a basic human necessity. I enjoy it. I'm not going to be shamed for enjoying it. And I can have sex with you and put you on a plane and not care about you the next day. And I'm not a heartless person, so that is not the scenario, but I can do that.
Yeah.
I basically had very transparent conversations with a few gentlemen and just said, listen, I'm looking for a situation where, we're friends. We respect each other. We have some value for each other, but we're sleeping together whenever we do. Because I don't have time really for an ongoing serious relationship. I just don't have it in me either. Like, I just don't have the energy for a romantic, emotional, what I think is now complication. Like, get out of the way. I don't have it in me anymore. So,
you mean any more period, or just right now?
No, right now. But I do feel like it might be that period.
Okay.
I don't know yet. I'm feeling that out. Like, I enjoy I enjoy a male companion, but I enjoy a female companion who I don't have sex with equally. So, do I really need it? Because I have a great circle of friends that I love and can take on the same trip. I don't have to have sex with them. So why do I need a male that really only need the man for his appendage? I don't need him for anything else.
Right.
Everything else in the world that a man could give me, I already have or can provide for myself, except his dick.
Right. But you also need that because it's like food, water, and air.
Right.
Water and air.
And
yes.
I only need that when I need it. It's, pretty much fasting.
Yeah.
So, I basically, because I'm a sports fanatic, said, we're doing tryouts. I'm basically saying, you have a chance to try out, see if you can make the roster, be on the lineup. And, if I decide to choose an MVP and you get picked, you're lucky. And that's it. And that is because I don't want the complication. I don't want to take off to Costa Rica with a girlfriend or a male friend and have to worry about the emotional baggage of a partner. Or explaining myself. I want to go to Costa Rica, I'm going to go. I want to go to Puerto Rico, I'm going to go. If I want to go wherever and do whatever with whoever, I don't want to answer to anybody. I think if you respect a man, or you have a friendship with a man and you respect him, I can be very more organic and say, I'm going with Isaiah, we're going to Costa Rica for a month. I am sleeping with him or I am not. You can see that I'm an honest person. You get to genuinely get to kind of know that person without the facade of, for the next 3 months, I need to put on my best self when really I'm not this quality of a person.
Right.
So it gives me the chance to really see people. I have an example. I was supposed to see a gentleman this weekend here in LA. Well, last weekend, he supposedly went on a camping trip and I didn't hear from him. Like, I'm supposed to see you next weekend and I haven't heard from you. It's not, you don't owe me an explanation. I don't care who you went with. I don't care where you went, but I called you Friday. I text you one. I'm not a relentless person. I don't have the time for that. But no response till Monday. That was disrespectful and rude.
Right.
So I'm not, and no shade to anybody who works in this profession. It's just my go-to. I'm not the basic bitch that works at Starbucks. You're not going to treat me that way. I am Sofia Rose. A million people want to look at my DMs. I mean, don't play with me that way.
Yeah.
If you want to be on the lineup and try out, you need to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So
was this person in the lineup?
He was going to be.
He was going to be.
And I mean, literally right before I got here, he was like, well, I really want the weekend that we had planned, so I'll just postpone it. Well, he doesn't know this yet, but it won't probably be postponed. I just don't want to see you. Like, forget it.
It's cut.
Yeah, you didn't even make it because you've already showed me that this is how you are. Like, you're not consistent. And I've already talked to him about his inconsistency in communication.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you were with. I don't care where you even went. It's the principle of there's a lack of respect, a lack of communication and courtesy. For someone that you think that you want to sleep with and you're calling a friend, this is not how I let my friends treat me.
Right.
I don't let my girlfriends do this to me. Why would I let you and you want to sleep with me? That's a level up.
Yeah.
So show me what I need to see or you're not. And now that you see it more organically, it's still dating, but it's not the label of dating. Because I don't want to date anybody exclusively, and I really want to date. It's just, we go out, we do some fun things, and we have sex, and then I say goodbye, and, I'll text you in a couple days. It doesn't need to be so intense and emotional and all those things.
Yeah.
I can't do it right now. And it's really because I need to be able to shoot next Wednesday and not worry about my phone blowing up because some guy wants my attention because he's my boyfriend. Like, no, please let me do my job. Let me be at the podcast doing what I need to do and you not annoying me.
Right.
Because believe it or not, men like to think that they're so tough, but they are more emotional than women sometimes, I swear, and more needy and more clingy. And because
hey now.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate a man who is in touch with his emotions.
Right.
But you can't be that way with someone who's in the public eye in the way that I am.
Right.
And they know what they're getting into when they get here. So if your ego you want to be with me because your ego needs it, then it's going to work. Mm-hmm. And I feel duped by a guy who I was like, okay, maybe I have one more relationship in me because I really didn't want to do this. Was really special, really unique guy. I fell for I'm not like other guys. I know every guy say it. Guess what? At the end of the day, 4 months later,
he was just like all the other good guys. Yeah.
I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Okay, well, I'm not looking for another friend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was upset in the moment for like 10 minutes because we weren't together. There was no exclusivity. It wasn't even a big deal. And I said, hey, give me a call. Let's talk about this. Because after a couple of days, I was like, all right, I'm not so upset anymore. I really wanted a friends with benefits situation. He lives 2 blocks from me. Why can't we just enjoy sex as adults because it's a necessity? I said, call me tomorrow. And he never called. And I was like, all right, we're not even friends then. But he had delivered all these promises of, we'll be friends at the very least. Maybe we build a relationship. Maybe we build an empire, take over the world. And I'm like, I love this kind of energy.
Right.
He gave me all the energy I wanted. Yeah. I feel like I was talking to a completely different person in January to the time I was spending more time with him in April. I'm like, who are you? That is what dating is. You date someone to get to know them, and people just start sleeping with each other, and now they're together. And you're like, that's not you don't actually know who this person is.
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is saying, we're having a transparent conversation. I want a friends with benefits, but as a 30 and 40-year-olds adults, not 18 and 20-year-olds who are just basically friends with benefits, and I don't give a fuck about her later. Right. No, we're truly friends. We have mutual respect. We value each other. It doesn't mean you blow up my phone every day. It doesn't even mean I talk to you every day. It just means, hey, how are you? I saw this. I thought of you. You're just friends. The same way I would with my girlfriends.
Mm-hmm. Well,
how is it any different? Except I'm sleeping with you.
That's a respect thing with your girlfriends, right? Your girlfriends respect you. There's a mutual respect there. There's things like there's code you wouldn't do to each other. Yeah. You wouldn't ghost each other. You wouldn't blah, blah, blah.
Like I've texted you all day and I didn't hear. I'm sorry. I was doing this X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it, but guys don't do that, and it's like you don't understand. I don't need that. I don't need you to tell me everything you're doing, but that's fine if you don't want to. But I'm not going to continue to talk to you because my friends don't treat me this way, and I expect you to treat me like. So that expectation of treat me like a true friend, because I'll ask a guy, well, how often do you talk to your male best friend? Oh, 2 or 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
They're sleeping with me.
Yeah.
Is he sucking your dick?
Right. So you don't want just sex.
No.
You want the friendship.
It's really what dating is supposed to be.
Right. So you're like, you've got 20 items that you took into the dressing room with you There's 4 that maybe will work.
Yeah.
Right? You're trying them on.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see which ones you return.
Yeah.
Because after you've worn them for a little bit, maybe it doesn't fit as well. Maybe it looked better in the dressing room, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever, you know?
So we're coming close to the end, which makes me really sad. But I have a couple things. I'm really fascinated with this. You've been in love.
Absolutely.
You've been in love. You've fallen hard for somebody?
Fallen hard, been broken.
Okay. And through this healing work and through coming to be the age that you are and all of this stuff and where you are in your career, you've centered on a way of living that feels like it's important for you to be autonomous.
Yes.
In your work and your play.
Yes.
Right? And so what you are looking for is men who feel the same way. With a mutual respect.
I want respect and companionship the way that I get it from other people that I call friends.
Yeah.
And it's mutual.
Yes.
And, you know, I have a visitor right now, and he says, I feel like I need to treat you like a goddess because you've been nothing but kind, generous, accommodating, showing me and doing me things that I wouldn't otherwise do.
Yeah.
So that is what I was looking for.
Yes.
That's it. He's fulfilled exactly what I've explained I wanted. And we're friends. And that's
Right.
it. You know, he'll fly home on Saturday and I'll be fine. And if I don't talk to him for a week, I'm not freaking out. Life is life. He has a son. He has things. I got things going on. But we're not going to treat each other like a one night stand. Oh God, I don't want to see her again. Oh God, don't let her know she's on I'm on Instagram. I posted on my story. Like, we're not doing this avoid. Let's be elusive, because a guy wants to play with me that he's going to lose. In the long run, he's going to lose. I'm not playing these games.
What if someone catches feelings? What if
and
you
I've
catch
had that
feelings?
happen.
Yeah.
I don't see that I would.
Okay.
But I have had that happen, and that actually happened this past year. You know, I started seeing an ex actually from 2007.
Oh,
I
really
went to Mexico. Yeah, 15 years we've known each other.
Yeah.
We went to Cancun. I love him, but I don't love him like that. We saw each other from August to March of this year. We saw each other 3 times. He thought we were exclusive. I'm still seeing people. And he got upset because I wouldn't fly out there at the drop of a hat to go see him around his birthday. I'm moving. It was April 1st. I'm moving. I don't have time. He took it as now this is also a narcissist. So his ego took it as I was blowing him off. You know, you want me to jump when you want something, but that is kind of the arrangement. How are we in a relationship? I talk to you once every 2 or 3 weeks. We've seen each other 3 times in 9 months. That is not a relationship.
Right.
I expect to talk to my partner every day or a couple of times a day about life. And I wasn't doing that with him, so I don't know where it came from. But he did have feelings.
He did.
And
so he got hurt.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, he said it. He goes, I don't know why I'm acting like this. It's like we're in a relationship. We're not. See, you just said we're not.
Yeah.
But you just said you thought you were. So I'm confused. Why are you acting this way? And he's my age. He's older than me. So I'm just like, what if I will deal with it when it comes? This is not about them. This is about me.
Yeah.
And I've even had girlfriends say, what if they cross paths with each other? And I said, well, then they can make that call. If they say they're out, they don't want to try out anymore, that's okay. They can drop off the lineup. I got another one coming if they want, if they don't want to be there. But it's not about their experience. It's about my experience. I am being who I genuinely am. Generous, kind, very, I'm a great hostess. I love entertaining people. I love driving to LA and doing fun things.
Yes.
And if you shoot yourself in the foot, that's your doing. I'm going to react and do what's best for me in that scenario. And if they run across each other and he's mad and they want to leave, that's fine. If they don't, great.
Okay.
I'm not going to feel bad about it. But I've been very clear, don't catch feelings. If you're going to catch feelings, I'm probably going to run or put some distance, because it's not something I want right now. And even the guy that's visiting me right now, we were joking. I was driving him around Las Vegas, and I said, I was being funny, like, oh, look, there's just a chapel. Want to get married? He's like, yes. And I was like, oh. that was a joke. Like, look how funny. Haha. There's just a chapel sitting here on the side of the road. Like French fries at McDonald's.
Yes.
And he was like, well, you got your answer. I was like, he was like, I'm being honest. You're like my dream woman. I'm like, I know, but you're like way too young.
Right.
But
but not too young for this. Not too young for this.
We're just having fun.
Kind of new dynamic that you're creating.
I just want to see people who they truly are without I'm trying
the
to
obligation.
Exactly. I say I want everything to be non-obligatory, and I don't want a facade. I don't want you to be putting on your best behavior to impress Sofia Rose.
Yeah.
How about just be who you are? I want to know who you are in traffic. I want to know when you go to the post office what you're like. I want to know when things are inconvenient who you really are, so that if I chose to make a relationship out of this, I know who you are when your guard is down. You also know me. When she says she's on a set, she's on a set. She's being ethical. She's being, she's doing everything I've agreed to because I'm doing it whether you're there or not.
Exactly. And you don't have to lie about it.
I'm not lying. There's no reason. And they and just like to lie. And it's like, why? You didn't have to.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to call me over the weekend? Don't call me next week. Miss me 2 weekends then, because I'm not playing this game with me. It's not for me.
I would just imagine that most men are going to be very unused to a situation like this.
They're unused to me already.
Yeah. And so this is like all of their tricks of the trade won't come in handy here. And that's got to be weird, right? When they're used to kind of this performative aspect of every relationship.
I don't want performance. I want real. Yeah. And I also tell men, including the one that caught feelings for me early this year, I said, you realize there isn't anything you have that I want. You have nothing I want or need. Not even your dick, really, because I do work in porn. And if I really wanted to fuck somebody, guess what? I'm in a shoot trade now.
Right.
And I'm having sex and getting paid. And I don't have to have the relationship or any kind of romantic involvement. But I tell guys that, why would you think that you're going to try to impress a girl who already has everything she needs?
Yeah.
And anything that you think you're going to impress me with, I can probably afford 10 times that. So really just have a seat. Show me, seats. have some respect, be a good communicator, have some value, and, let's see where things go. It's not, I have a house and I drive this and I work this. What are you as a person? Because you can be a shitty person and do all those things. I don't give a shit. I'm a good person. I want a good person around me.
Yeah.
And everything financial when it comes to finances, I'm secure. I have what I need. Yes. What are you going to give me?
Right.
You're not going to impress me.
It's not about the money. It's about...
Take me to Wendy's. I'll eat a baked potato. It's fine. But, you can also take me to a 4-star Michelin. So I will... If you're a shitty person to the waiter, you're still a shitty person to the waiter.
Right.
And that's how I look at people. So it's not about impressing me. Impress me with other things and enjoy life with me. And that's really what it is. I'm like, you know what? If I want to go to Mexico and I say, hey, you want to come? Pay your way. I'm not paying for you. Pay your way.
Yeah.
Let's just have a good time together. 2 adults just having a good time and get drunk and have sex. Fine.
Amazing.
Can we just do that?
Amazing.
Why do we have to be, that's my girlfriend,
Well, and it's also what most men profess to wanting. Mm-hmm. But in actuality, you're finding that most of them aren't ready for that.
Not only are they not ready, they really don't know how to facilitate that.
Yeah.
They play the games and they mess it up. Like this guy that's supposed to be here this weekend. It's like, I had 4 guys in my lineup here this week. 2 already dropped out. I was like, where'd they go? Okay, you're off the roster. Not even going to get a chance. I don't want to talk to one of them ever again. And then the guy on the week, I'm like, you ghosted me last week and ghosted me this weekend. Then go away. I don't want to see you. Mm-mm. And I may not want to see you later. Right. Because now I'm just like sick of repeating myself.
Yeah.
This is disrespectful. And he goes, well, you didn't text me back on Monday. I was like, yeah, I was being petty. I also have company in town.
Right.
So
I'll
come back again for you, or we'll just talk about dating.
We need a part 3.
I know.
We do.
Uh-huh.
I loved this conversation. I love the Sofia Rose school of dating, not dating. The lineup, the roster. I love all of that.
I even text somebody and said, there'll be tryouts possibly this weekend in LA.
Tryouts. I just can't imagine what men are thinking to that means.
They understand what I'm saying when I say it, though. Like, you want to come for tryouts?
Right? LA. Put a little ad in, little post.
Let me see what you can do.
So aside from the lineup, tryouts, what's next for you?
I am 100% focused on myself.
Yeah.
I'm enrolled in school at Cornell.
Are you really? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah. Well, you've inspired that.
Tell me.
Because we talked about working at the Moth and speaking.
Yes.
I wanted to refine my skills. essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
Not only just with speaking, but just it's always good. There's always room for improvement no matter how educated you are and how much experience you have. And so I felt that going to maybe just a couple classes somewhere, and I don't know if Instagram heard me or what, but there was the ad, and I was like, Women in Leadership at Cornell, I'll take it.
Yes.
And it's a 10-week course, and I'm just picking other courses as I go because I'm like, this is really fun. Education's fun. And that is just to help improve and refine things that I'm already good at, so that if I do go speak somewhere, I have a little bit of credibility and not just a porn star, but I have this credibility back there. I've also been given other speaking opportunities at other events for plus size positivity, sex positivity, and various things, and I want more of that. And I felt like I just wanted to add credits to the name, not just porn accolades, which is fine. I think those are great, but I do think that my porn and everything I've built has created an opportunity for me to take that somewhere else that's more meaningful to me, and that is more impactful to the change that I want and what my vision has always been, and those are my focuses right now, is really living my healing, my truth, self-love, practicing it every day, which is not easy, and focusing on keeping my boundaries so that I maintain my happiness, because I truly am the happiest I've ever been in my life.
It shows.
And I am like, I feel so unstoppable. Like there's just nothing bothers me. I've really learned to disconnect that things are about me and really about other people's experiences, and saying it is what it is. Like that just is what it is. I'm sorry they're having a bad day. This isn't about me. And the things that are about me, I've got control of. Like that's, you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. So
I love that you're taking those classes. I think you could be on a platform that reaches a wider audience, not whiter, but wider. That more people can have access to you if you evolve the platforms and the stages you can be on.
Yes.
Like we talked about, and we're going to talk about it more, just you and I, after the interview. I want you to do the Moth, which is a national storytelling competition.
Yes.
I think you would slay there. You have amazing stories. And I think your perspective is so unique, and people need to hear it.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that you came out to do this. I can't thank you enough. I'm so glad that we were able to capture it on video.
Yeah.
And thank you, Sophia. Thank you for this.
I'm calling it the evolution of Sophia, because that's really what it's been. And my fans and you and anybody I've crossed paths with is sharing that experience with me and helping it happen. Yeah. Because I don't know how this opportunity happened, but it did, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is leading into where I think it's supposed to go, with respect to what happened to me as a child. It gave me this ability to create a career while still in sex, to where I am admired, respect, people want to hear what I have to say. Right now we go into, I'm going to make this something that means something, and my trauma and the things I went through as a child support it.
Yes.
So that's why I tell my parents, have faith, the same faith that you told me to have. There was a reason, even though it's tragic, there's a reason. And now I've turned that tragedy into a win that I think is going to turn into something that's, like you said, a broader audience is going to hear and hopefully relate and feel some sort of inspiration of, I can do this. I can win at life and be happy. I wish other people had the happiness that I had. I have now. I've always been a happy person, but this is just next level. Like it's coming from inside me. Like I'm just happy. Like, okay, with everybody.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to end it right there.
Okay.
It's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sofia Rose, and I am the only porn star in the room with a dating lineup.